We always cherish these moments sitting down together to unravel the tangled webs of our favorite daytime drama. Let us dive right into today's deep analysis. If you were not looking closely at Anna and her hands in that recent scene at the police station, you completely missed the real story. Did you notice the way her fingers tapped against the desk, erratic and impatient, a stark contrast to the composed, elegant grace we have known for decades? That was not the subtle, calculated movement of the brilliant agent we have admired since the golden era of soap operas. That nervous energy, that almost predatory gleam in her eyes when she thought no one was watching, gave her away entirely. For those of us who have followed this legacy character through every triumph and tragedy, that tiny, easily missed physical detail flips the entire narrative on its head. We are not watching the woman we love. We are watching Alex. Thinking back to 20 or 30 years ago, the distinction between the twin sisters was always drawn with absolute precision. Our beloved heroine was defined by her unwavering moral compass, her fierce devotion to Robin, and her profound sense of justice. She was the cornerstone of a true super couple, a woman who fought for love and truth against all odds. Alex, on the other hand, was always the shadow, the manipulator, the one who could perfectly mimic the voice and the face but could never quite replicate the genuine warmth in the eyes. When we examine the foundation of long-term storytelling, we see that the essence of a character rarely changes so drastically without a sinister reason. The recent erratic decisions, the sudden grab for power at the police department, and those haunting visions of Peter all point to a terrifying reality that the writers are slowly unfolding before us. The return to the commissioner's seat should have been a moment of triumph, a restoration of order for the town. Instead, it feels like a dark cloud has descended over the station. Dante was forced to step down, and the entire department is now under the control of someone who is operating on a hidden, dangerous agenda. The visions of Peter that have been plaguing her are not just random manifestations of trauma. If this is indeed Alex, her connection to Peter is rooted in a twisted, maternal obsession. Peter was her son, the dark legacy she left behind, and her mind might be fracturing under the weight of his memory. Or worse, he might actually be alive and pulling the strings from the shadows. This brings us to the most heartbreaking piece of this puzzle, sweet Emma. Having grown up right before our eyes, Emma has inherited the best traits of her mother, Robin, and her grandmother. She is incredibly bright, deeply observant, and possesses an innate curiosity that makes her impossible to fool for long. Recently, Emma has been spending a lot of time in town, enjoying her youth with Gio, completely unaware that the grandmother she adores might actually be a dangerous imposter. The proximity between Emma and the woman she believes to be her grandmother is a ticking time bomb. Emma is instinctively drawn to her family, and that familial bond is exactly what will lead her straight into the heart of this terrifying conspiracy. I firmly believe that Emma will be the first person to truly notice the cracks in the facade. It will not be a sudden realization, but rather a slow accumulation of unsettling moments. She might notice that a cherished childhood memory is recalled incorrectly, or that the warmth in a hug feels rigid and forced. Emma has always had a special connection with her grandmother, a bond forged through years of shared secrets and unconditional love. When those subtle cues start to misalign, Emma will not just brush them off. Her inquisitive nature will compel her to dig deeper, to watch closer, and to start piecing together the terrifying truth that the rest of the town is too blind to see. I can vividly imagine the chilling sequence of events that will follow. Emma, driven by her growing suspicions or perhaps simply wanting to surprise her grandmother, will seek her out at a time and place she has not expected. She will quietly approach an office or a secluded location, only to witness a secret rendezvous that defies all logic. She will see the woman she thought was her grandmother standing face to face with a man who is supposed to be dead. The shock of seeing Peter alive, conspiring in the shadows, will be paralyzing enough. But the true horror will set in when she hears the tone of their conversation, the sinister familiarity between them, and realizes that the woman standing there is not her grandmother at all, but the ruthless Alex. Standing in the shadows, holding her breath to avoid detection, Emma will be burdened with the most dangerous secret in town. The psychological weight of this discovery will be immense. She will instantly understand that the police department, the very institution meant to protect them, is currently under the absolute control of an imposter. Who can she trust in a moment like this? If she runs to Mac, Robert, or Dante, will they believe her, or will they think she is simply confused by grief and stress? More importantly, can she even reach them before Alex uses her vast resources and authority to intercept her? Emma will realize that she is entirely alone in this terrifying moment, armed only with a truth that could get her killed. We all know that Alex and Peter are not characters who leave loose ends. They are cold, calculating, and utterly ruthless when their survival is threatened. If they catch even a glimpse of Emma in the shadows, or if they find a single clue that she was there, her fate will be sealed. Alex cannot afford to let her masquerade be exposed, especially not when she has finally acquired the power she always craved. Emma, despite her intelligence, is still a young woman facing off against seasoned, deadly operatives. The stakes have never been higher, and the danger surrounding Emma will escalate to a fever pitch, creating a sense of dread that will keep us all on the edge of our seats. This leads me to my most heartbreaking prediction. To truly expose the magnitude of Alex's deception, the writers might take a tragic route. Emma could become the ultimate victim of this conspiracy. If Emma were to suddenly vanish without a trace, or if she were found to have met a tragic end, the entire town would be thrown into a state of profound mourning. But the most insidious part of this scenario is that Alex, wearing the face of the beloved police commissioner, would be the one leading the investigation into her own grandniece's disappearance. She would have the perfect cover to destroy evidence, misdirect the detectives, and ensure that the truth remains buried forever. The thought of Alex comforting Robin, Mac, and Robert while secretly being the architect of their unimaginable pain is almost too much to bear. It would be the ultimate betrayal of character integrity, a storyline so dark and twisted that it would leave an indelible mark on the history of the show. Yet, from a dramatic standpoint, it is a masterstroke. The sheer emotional devastation of seeing the family rely on the very monster who caused their suffering would be incredibly compelling television. It would showcase the absolute depths of Alex's depravity and the terrifying effectiveness of her impersonation. However, no perfect crime stays hidden forever, especially not in our beloved town. The disappearance or death of Emma would be the catalyst that finally awakens the seasoned instincts of the veterans. Mac and Robert are not fools, and Dante is a brilliant detective in his own right. While Alex might be able to manipulate the evidence initially, the sheer grief and determination of the family will eventually cause them to look closer. They will start to notice the same subtle inconsistencies that Emma saw. They will question why the commissioner is making certain investigative choices, why leads are being ignored, and why the woman they love seems so cold in the face of such a personal tragedy. When the truth finally comes to light, the fallout will be catastrophic. The realization that they have been living with, trusting, and taking orders from an imposter will shatter the community. But it will also vindicate the true essence of the woman we have loved for decades. It will prove that the erratic behavior, the cruelty, and the manipulation were never hers to begin with. The legacy of our beloved heroine will remain intact, her honor restored, even as she herself is likely being held captive somewhere, fighting to return to her family. This storyline, as dark as it may be, ultimately serves to highlight the irreplaceable value of the real woman. As someone who has watched these families evolve, love, and lose over the decades, I find myself both terrified and thrilled by this potential direction. It is a testament to the enduring power of these characters that we care so deeply about their fates. We have weathered storms, resurrections, and heartbreaks before, and we will weather this one too. The writers are challenging us, pushing the boundaries of the narrative, and demanding that we pay attention to every single detail. It is a reminder of why we fell in love with this genre in the first place. The intricate, multi-generational sagas that pull at our heartstrings and refuse to let go. So, my dear friends, as we prepare for the weeks ahead, keep your eyes wide open. Watch the subtle movements, the hidden glances, and the choices being made at the police department. Pray for sweet Emma, for her curiosity might just be the key to unlocking the darkest secret this town has seen in years. No matter how heartbreaking the journey becomes, I will be right here, watching every moment with the same unwavering passion I have had since the beginning. Because at the end of the day, it is the resilience of these families, the triumph of truth over deception, that keeps us coming back for more.